Today we are going to be assembling the KPRO350MP Kushman Products Wheelbarrow Mixer. This is not going to be an unboxing video. This is about assembly. So let's see how this goes. Okay, we're going to follow the instructions step by step here. This says remove the plastic from the black frame parts. Everything is wrapped. Here's a decent example. I haven't gotten to that yet, but everything is wrapped and wrapped extremely well. It should arrive pretty much undamaged. Don't remove the bolts until you get to that step, and then install the foot support to drawbar frame. The labels aren't great, but this appears to be the drawbar frame. You've got two bolts close together, two that are farther apart. We're going to take the ones that are farther apart, remove our washer, bolts, nuts, these little plastic caps are everywhere, so I'm going to take these off. And see how we're matching up there. And we repeat on the other side. Washer, nut, and I will tighten these up in a moment. The next step, bolt axle to main lower frame. This is the main lower frame here, and you can see that these ones that are at an angle, let's pull the caps off of here, and then the axle is going to bolt up here on both sides. I'm just going to get these bolts started, and I will tighten them up either at the end, but it will be tightened up off camera. And so far the bolts are in the places where they need to be installed. Voila, now our axle is on this A-frame piece. The next step says bolt complete drawbar to main frame. The main frame is the piece that we attach the axle to, and there, if you look, there's one part of that frame has one large bolt hole, and then this one also has a slot on the back. You want to use that slot on the back, pull the cap off, and you can see we got two bolt holes here. So again, super convenient that they've put the bolts and nuts where they already need to be. I love that. It's just a little thing, but it's better than having to sort all this stuff out. So pull those, remove that cap. And I'll attach that other nut that I just dropped here in a second. The next step, install wheel washer and R-clip. Okay, there's one wheel washer. There's our wheel. These have a label on them that says outward, so the longer part of the shaft on that wheel goes towards the outside. I did do it wrong. So let me put this back on. This is the right way. Washer out like that. And here's our R-clip. What they're saying is put the wheel on first. Arrow's gonna face outward. Then the washer. So there's our flat washer. Then this R-clip. That's the right way to do it, not the way I did it the first time. 4 nuts, bolts, flat washers, 4 nuts, spring washers, and flat washers. You're gonna take all 4 of those sets off. Now it wants you to double check the torque on these, set it to about 10 foot-pounds. Which is really not much at all. I think we're just double checking that. That feels good. There's pressure in there. And there's lube. Don't over tighten that. You don't want to trash that gasket. Install gear motor on the tilting main frame, and it shows the picture. That's this L-shaped kind of bracket. So here, there's 4 holes here in this plate, and the motor orients this direction. And then we're going to reinstall the flat washer, spring washer, and nuts that we pulled off of that motor a little bit earlier. Tighten those to 10 pounds. Attach the tilting main frame to the swivel bracket by inserting the pivot pin and securing with an R-clip. Here's our pivot pin. Here's this deal. And slide this through here. Adjust the nuts and bolts under the swivel support so the dump latch will operate smoothly. The nuts and bolts they're talking about are on either side of this flat plate that we just installed, and the dump latch is this brass looking piece that goes in and out, and mine is working fine, so it was adjusted from the factory where it needs to be. Pull back the latch on the swivel bracket, then slide the swivel bracket over the lower main frame and secure with latch on the swivel bracket. Seemed pretty easy. Okay, now it's locked into place, and if you want to swivel this thing around, you pull the latch out, give it a little twist, and now the whole thing can rotate. So when you get your bucket on there, that's pretty sweet. For now, locked into place. Install the bushing to the back of the drum, then install the nuts on the inside of the drum. Tighten the inside nuts to secure the bushing. So it sounds like what you do, pull all these nuts and bolts out of here. There's this, sorry, it's covered with aluminum shavings. it lines up with all these holes, so I'm assuming that gasket's supposed to go in there. The gasket is not in the pictures. Reverse these bolts. I love it when I'm expecting problems and it works out. That gasket went on here very easily, and now those are all in there, and this makes total sense because when you're in here trying to get this thing to fit, how are you going to reach around and hold all of those bolts in there, right? Because you're reaching up inside and attaching those nuts. So that's the next step. Put all of our nuts on the inside of this drum for these bolts. In the styrofoam packing that the motor came in, there's a bolt and nut. I'm assuming that's what this is for. So the next step is slide the drum onto the shaft of the gear motor, turn so the holes line up. Install handles and attach with spring clips. Note, the handles can be placed in either the front position or the rear position for dumping. Tilt that up. So these have an angle to them, so what I'm going to do, lay it flat, put it in like that. Take these clips, whatever you want to call them. There we go. Now we got a handle. We got a handle on things, folks. That's amazing. I have a project I'm going to use this for. It is not going to be used for concrete. It does have these blades for mixing the concrete. I have not installed those, but they look pretty straightforward. You've got holes here and here to install these blades. So those are not going in. I will share the project with y'all soon, but it has to do with the rock garden. This thing is pretty sweet. I'm real happy with this. I was looking for the Harbor Freight mixer, and this is in Denver. Nobody had one. So looked on Craigslist. Everybody wanted too much for really beat up Harbor Freight ones, and you know, I'm willing to pay a reasonable amount of money, but yeah, not what some of these guys were asking for. Anywho, I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope it's helpful. The instructions on this, not great, but I would tell you that, again, I'm not a concrete guy. I'm an IT guy, but I have a lot of tools and I like to tinker, things like that. This feels, for what you get, like pretty good quality. It does not feel like a Harbor Freight wheelbarrow. This feels pretty solid. I'm excited about this, and hopefully this is going to make my next project just go super smooth. So anyway, thanks for watching. If this video was helpful, feel free to give the video a like and click that subscribe button. What do you got to lose? Come on, click it. You know you want to. Anywho, thanks for watching. Okay, we're not quite done yet. Let's turn this thing on, man. Come on. Oh yeah. Oh, this is gonna work really good. Let's do some laundry. It's like the old West up in here. Washy in the new blue chair. Rincy over here.